Morning everybody, Merry Christmas, hope you all had a fabulous few days. So this video is for quite a few people recently have been coming to me with lower back issues. So my lovely friend's daughter, my really good friend of mine, Jen, lots of people just recently, and it's a culmination of all sorts of things really. Sat at home a little bit longer than you normally would be, sort of hunched over a computer, so all this becomes lengthened, and yeah, this area becomes tight, the lower back, issues with the lower back. Back issues can be due to so many things, it's virtually impossible to cover everything in one video, and obviously without proper assessing somebody. And it's getting difficult more and more now with face-to-face being kind of quashed a little bit. So I'm going to cover some things today. Majority of stuff will be stretches for the lower back, for the bottom area, which sometimes the piriformis can cause issues. And we'll do a little bit of work to strengthen the upper thoracic and get that lengthening back in the front of the chest. Also, tight hips can cause lower back problems, as can hamstrings. So basically, we're going to be trying to cover all of it. Tomorrow, I might do more of a difficult kind of HIIT bar class for any of my clients that are wanting something a bit more intense. And yeah, so that's it. But something nice and gentle today, because I still feel stuffed from Christmas Day. So we're just going to start with placing one foot in front of the other, keeping our shoulders down, just to mobilise through the hip area. So you're just going to do this with the leg, the same as what I'm doing with my shoulder, which is actually quite nice, just to mobilise. So don't look down at your knee, try and keep the length through the crown of the head. And 2 and 1, and then the other direction for 8, for 7, for 6, and just always think that any kind of circling is really good for the joint action and just sending those messages up to the brain. And 1, well done. Switch sides, I'm having my camera for keeping, and shoulders down tight through. So don't think of this as being a workout to work off the Christmas pud. It's more of a exercise routine to just get us out of pain and keep our joints super loose. Yeah. And 3 and 4, 4 more, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Well done. And gently back, and then we'll just work through the shoulder. So the shoulder area, a little bit like the hip, it's ball and socket, needs lots of lubrication. And they're quite complex joints, so sometimes they lack a little bit of stability as well. So we're not really working much on strength today, the other side, but we'll do a little bit. But once you get that sort of pain moving, as in moving away from the body, then once you feel better, then you really need to start strengthening areas like the hip. Yeah, all these side glute muscles and your shoulder area, but that might come in part 2. And 1. Okay, but we'll just work a little bit through, just strengthening the back of the leg, just as we come up and down. And 2, we're just going to move your arms and then bring your arms back and lower. So squeeze and lower. And 3. And 4, anyone who knows me, we do loads of calves normally, but obviously this is not a strength one. Shoulders down, tight through, and then just bring, so a good one to just get the hips moving, get the glutes working, our squats. You can do it sat in a chair and just try and get yourself up. Yes, make sure that bum is going to the wall and you're not squatting like that. So down and lift, keep the chest elevated. And you want to really try and do at least 20 squats. If you can manage more, brilliant. I often do 100 in a class. One of my lovely clients, if you're watching Lorraine, will do 500 a day. So if you're struggling with 20, you know that you need to work on these. So again, just back and back. So we're just getting everything moving before we start doing some stretches and just some mobilisation of the spine. Let's do 5 more. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Well done. And then we're going to do runner stretch, which again, if the iliotibial band gets tight, can pull on the knee. So if you are a runner, you need to be doing lots of strength work as well as just running. We'll do a little bit of core work, just a gentle core exercise today to get that core fired up, but not an abdominal session. So chin to chest, take the hips backwards, chin to chest, and then just gently float down. I want you to stop. I went for a run yesterday, and if I'm honest, there is about 3 to 4, which is not very good at the minute, but for me, I'm just going to hang there. Take a breath in, and out, in, and out. Last one, breath in, and slowly reset that spine against an invisible wall. And if you're a little bit tight in the back, that may feel quite intense, so don't force it down. You can have a nice softness in the knee, the front knee, chin to chest, take the hips backwards again, let the weight come forward. Again, a little bit further generally the second time, letting the head hang. And I can feel that stretch to the back of the leg, through the hamstrings, through the calf. Take a breath in. Last one, breath in, slowly up. So the hamstring calf stretch should feel mild discomfort, not pain. I can get down to the floor, no problem, but at the minute that would feel too intense. Last one, chin to chest, take the hips backwards, weight slightly forwards, and gently start coming down to the floor. Feels easier already, but again, still, I only want to go to about there. Take a breath in. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one, breath in. And slowly restart. Lovely. And to the other side. And again, just notice if there's more tension through one leg than the other. So I'm going to softly bend the knee. Take the hips backwards, chin to chest, and gently float. My left leg is never as tight as my right, so even on that first one I can nearly get down to the floor on that one. Still feels a pull a little bit in the back, yeah, through the hamstrings particularly. Take a breath in. Last one, breath in, and slowly up. Restacking, and then again, so be careful not to tuck under. We want to just send our bum backwards. Chin to chest, way all the way forwards, bone by bone, as we start just hanging down to the floor. And again, that's about a 3 to 4 on a stretch for me. The other leg would have been a 7 to 8 if I got my fingers down. Take a breath in. So I feel it through the hamstrings. Some people will feel it in the lower back. If it's feeling it in the lower back, make sure you don't come as far. And then gently down. Sometimes if the hamstrings are super tight, the back can feel a little bit tender. Take the hips back and gently down. I don't want that to happen. So if you start from the back about there, just let yourself hang. Yeah, don't force it. And we'll mobilise the back in a sec. Take a breath in. Last one, breath in, and slowly up. gently back. Okay, and then we're just going to soften the knees and we're going to send the pubic bone. So tip the tailbone under and then the other way. So this would be what we call imprint release. Obviously if you were doing abdominal exercises you wouldn't want to be like that. But likewise we don't want to be tucking under, we want to be in neutral spine. Now take the hips side to side. I'll discuss that a little bit in a sec. And then let's do the circle. Yeah, so you take it out and then under and wish for next year. A little bit of dancing. And 4 and 3. And this often feels really nice. 2 and 1. So make sure you do it every day. Okay, and then we're just going to start now, just warming up a little bit to strengthen the upper trapezius muscles, which can get lengthened and weakened when we're sat over a computer, and to just lengthen through the pectoral wall that can get a bit short. Okay, so chin to chest, hips a little bit, feet a little bit wider than hips. Take the hips backwards, a little bit of softness in the knees, that's really nice for the hamstrings, doesn't pull on the back. Chin to chest. And just gently down, and the sit bones come to the ceiling. And just hold there. So if I'd have done this first of all in the class without warming up, I wouldn't have been able to touch the floor. Take a breath in. And just gently let the hamstrings bring you back up, nice and slowly. Sometimes our body needs a stretch and mobilisation session much more than it needs a run. My body needed a run yesterday. Chin to chest, I was going to go today, but my hamstrings told me not to. So I feel so much better after this. And then tomorrow we're ready for a more cardio session. Let the breath come in through the nose. Exhale. Again, breath in. Slowly come back up. Oh, legs are feeling better already. The last one, we're going to walk it out. Chin to chest, a little bend through the knees, hips backwards, weight forwards. Anyone else still feels stuff from Christmas lunch? and chocolates and whatever else we have. So that's just your plank position, just to show you we're not keeping plank, but you want to make sure you're not dropping through the breastbone. Lift up nice and tall, core connected, heels towards the floor. That is like your optimum plank. But all we're going to do is come down on the knees, walk the hands a little bit close, and I want you to bend at the elbow. Bend and bring yourself up, chest down to the floor. And then just up into a cobra. Take a breath in. Come back into tucking the toes into your plank and take the hips automatically up to the ceiling. Walk the hands back. Take the right heel down. Feel the stretch. Notice where you're tight. For me, it's the calf. And the other way because I ran yesterday. That's why. And it's also stretching that back out, so just to alternate through each heel drop. And then keep the knees soft as you walk the hands back. We'll just keep the knees soft, even if you can normally straighten them, and gently up. Nice and slowly. And shoulders back and down. Let's do that one more time. Nice softness through the knee, chin to chest, take the hips backwards, gently down. These are targeting obviously mobilisation of the spine, but just getting them hamstrings lengthened if that's where you carry the tension. Gently out. And again, you can do chaturanga in plank, but we're going to just take the knees down, bend through the elbows, take the chest down, reach yourself up, take a breath in. So you're just getting a bit of a length through the front of the chest. And back into plank, straight into a downward dog. We're not holding plank, walk the hands back a little bit, let the head hang. And then just send them down. Just not too much, don't force it, just both heels. Sometimes nice to have a little circle in this action. Circle back. And then again, walk hands a little bit more, bend them knees again, walk it back. And slowly up. And the last one, we're going to chin to chest, take the hips back, a little bit of softness. You can probably straighten the legs a bit more now, if not the full way. And just notice how much better they feel after you've started rolling a bit. And then just bring it now into a 4-point kneeling position. Draw the tummy in. So what happens a lot of the time when people do sort of 4-point kneeling work, they do this and the shoulders hike and the breastbone drops. So if you're doing strength work, you'd want to be in this position, tummy tight. But we're not doing strength, we're doing mobilisation. So I'm going to send my bum up into the sky on my head, take a breath in. Keep my head where it is, and then I'm going to start rounding the tailbone and the lower back and really get that length through the upper thoracic as I take my chin down. And then I'm going to go the other way, reaching forwards to give myself a stretch through the front of the body and then round again. And then, so the ribs are coming away from the hips as you get a stretch through the front of the body. Take a breath in. Exhale as you start rounding the tailbone, and this is where you might find some tension. Some people, you get them, if they've been in a flex position over a computer, you get them into this position and it can feel very relieving. And one more. So remember, the neck is a continuation of the spine, cervical spine. So you don't want to move it in a wrong direction. So you don't want to start doing that. Yeah, you want to move it sequentially. Up, 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 up into the thoracic. Let the chin drop. Into the lumbar, well, the sacrum area first. Lumbar. And up. And then back to neutral. And then to the hips, so side to side. Try and elevate the shoulder so you're getting a stretch through the side of the body, which again can feel really tight. I meant to do a side bend actually. If I remember before we finish, I will. And then you can do that mixture where you take the hips in one direction, you round, take the hips in the other, and you dip. Lovely rolling cat. Round the other way. So I've only not done these since, I don't know what day was Sunday. I think the last one I did was Tuesday, and I can feel my back is already stiffening up a bit. And then we're going to sit into a lovely shell stretch. So you can sit on the bum to heels, and like that, which is nice. So if I'd have done this first of all this morning, I would have felt a very deep stretch there, which feels uncomfortable. Because I've mobilised a lot, that feels quite nice. Well, really nice. Or you can take big toes together and knees out wide. And again, just gently shout a little bit then, because I could hear my 12-year-old. And you can either just side to side, and please feel free to stay in this position. Stop the video, you don't have to move on as quick as I'm going to do. You can stay in it for a minute, you can rock, or you can just gently lay there. Think about the rib cage. Think about sort of, as you breathe in, let the ribs come up and out. Exhale, release. And then you can take both arms round to one direction. So you're feeling, take that bottom hand over the top. So you're feeling the stretch through the lateral side of the body. Sort of into the rib cage, into the lat dorsal muscles. Take a breath in. often think about people that run a lot and don't stretch. I don't know how you do it, guys, because one run yesterday and I'm already feeling that tightness in the body. Take a breath in. And because it's to work on back, to give that pain relief, guys, we're going to take it into my favourite stretch, pigeon stretch. I like to get into pigeon from a downward dog. So I come up into a downward dog again, and I like to just take one leg up, whichever one it is, mine's my left, and then I get a little calf stretch by sending my right heel down to the floor. Oh, beautiful. Take it up again, bring that knee in, and then you must take it out to the side on a right angle, not in like that, out, and then just reach down to the floor, and you will feel a lovely stretch around the bottom. Now, I don't feel much in the bum area today because I've not done any butt work. Usually if you've done lots of side leg and lots of clamp, you will feel this, but stretching the bottom out, particularly the piriformis muscle, which is sciatic nerve lives underneath it, so you want to make sure that you do this stretch. And I'll show you a couple more glute stretches. Yes, the lower back problems can be due to due to weak glutes, which, like I said, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube that targets the bum, guys. This is not about that today. This is about stretching any tight areas. But you have to work on your bottom by strengthening it, but it's also really important that you stretch it out. So then from here, I love to do a quadricep stretch. So the quad's the front, the top of the thigh, yeah, the front of the leg. And again, so for some people, depending on posture, so if you're what we call anteriorly tilted, yeah, the pelvis tilts forward, then the hamstrings will be long and the quads will be tight and short. If your bottom tilts the other way, under, it'll be the opposite. Not always, it's not an exact science, but you'll discover hopefully in this session where you are tight and tight muscles need stretching. And then gently down, and again come and just do a little cow and cat. Cow and cat, and again, it's just amazing how when you stretch, the stretches feel so much nicer the more you do, less tight. And then again, come on up, whoops, hopefully your mat didn't slip like mine just did, and then take one leg up, take the other heel down, so you're getting a nice stretch for that calf. Again, at the beginning of the session, I probably couldn't have got my heel down, because my calves felt super tight. But I did IT band, run a stretch earlier, and then up, walk it in, tuck it under, take the foot under the knee out to the side. Yeah, it's just like a glute stretch on your back, where we do figure 4 stretch. So again, just reach it in, take a breath in. If you have got the time, everyone who has the time should do at least one stretch session a week. I'm lucky that in my job I managed to stretch most days. I've got the type of physique that if I didn't stretch I would get tight, my muscles would get shortened, you get little adhesions and just causes all kinds of issues. So take the time out. And it feels nicer than a hard hit session. And just in. Well done, brilliant. Okay, and from this position, we're going to turn over onto the back and do a really simple stretch, just in case the back is already feeling a bit tender still before we do some bridge. Just pull that knee into chest. Just a really simple, I don't often feel much in this at all, but it just is just gentle stretching out those lower back muscles. And if you lengthen the other leg and put the heel down on the floor and let the toes point forwards, you get just a gentle stretch for the hip, which should feel quite nice now because we've just done that quad stretch in pigeon. And from this position you can just grab the back of that thigh and just gently lengthen the leg, just up and down. And sometimes you can hear, so the runners out there who are doing this might hear a little bit of, or then cross fibres, ligaments and tendons and things. So it's just a gentle, sort of dynamic stretch really, up and out. You can hold it a little bit, flex the foot, point it, flex, point, and then let's not forget our joint. So circling ankle joints, that's where all the movement patterns live. Firing up to our brain, that we've got a nice ankle joint ability. And then just in case you get a little bit, for me I do, this leg's alright, it's my left foot at the minute, but you can turn it into that inversion, so you're stretching through the foot. So eversion, inversion, eversion, so just keeping the sole up, in and out, in and out. Shake it all out, there'll be no hokey cokey, will there? And then gently down, and then again, just bring that knee in. If the knee doesn't bother you, you can grab the front of the shin. And you'll find people that are really tight, they'll do this. I'll do this in a massage. I'll get sometimes someone to just pull and their knee will only go to there. So the knee, you want to try and get in to the chest. So yeah, my friend, hi, I hope you're watching, darling. Yeah, getting an assessment. Physios are great. I'm not saying they're not, but it's very difficult to diagnose where someone's getting their back issue from. Whether it's a weakness in their glutes, in their core, or whether it's a tightness through their piriformis glute muscles, or their lower back, or postural. Yeah, and then just hold, just flex and point. So as you flex in, you feel the calf stretching more. Or if it's got super tight circles, super tight hamstrings, super tight hips. And then in. So some people are fine with the feet, but I have to really stretch my feet out. And relax. And then just take it into butterfly stretch, just in case you're tight. If you're tight in the piriformis, sometimes the hips, so if the hips are up here, the knees are up here somewhere, then it usually means that you're tight through the piriformis area. Yeah, the piriformis is an external rotator, so if it's too tight, it'll be difficult to get down. And again, just hold, take the palms up. Gently, now we're going to take it into bridge, so you might want to watch for a second bridge. So with the bridge position, we want to mobilise the spine, so all the little joints in between the vertebrae. Yeah, and I'm just going to move on my mat, I get a bit OCD if both my hands like down. So you don't want your feet out here, you want your feet a little bit close to the bottom, shins directly under the knees, and this is where we are in neutral spine. Pubic bone and hip bones are level. So we're not squashing the lower back into the mat, we're not arching forward. So if we were to do abdominal work, that would be the prime thing. In fact, before we do bridge, I'll just show you. I'm not going to do abs today, but if you want to concentrate on trying to get the abdominals strong, you want to keep the ribs in and down, so the ribs are on the mat. Tiny little gap underneath that lumbar area. Pubic bone, hip bones are level. And you can just start by doing things like really slowly, without any movement like this. Yeah? So you're lifting, keeping the core engaged and lowering. Lifting, very straightforward, but the more precise you do it, the more you are working through the abdominals. Yeah? So we're not rocking in and out of imprint. You can then take it into a double leg, keep the core engaged, shins pointing up to the ceiling, and just gently drop. And slowly up. When you do it perfectly still, it really works the abdominals, or single legs. Yeah, so the important thing for core work, guys, is that we are not arching or we're not squashing, we're doing it in neutral spine. So with that neutral spine in mind, I want you just to think about, keeping the ribs down, length through the front of the chest, arms down by your side, take a breath in through the nose. Gently roll. So imagine you've got a little grate underneath the lumbar spine. I'll take my hands like that so you can see. And you gently roll in that lower back into the mat. And slowly up. So sometimes when you do bridge, people can feel it in the lower back. Hopefully today you won't, because we've mobilised it quite a bit. You want the hips nice and high. Take a breath in through the nose. And slowly down. So obviously bridge strengthens the legs. We can do all kinds of glute work, hip strengthening work in bridge, but all I'm doing today is I want you to just get used to the position. Take a breath in, gently roll the lower back into imprint, slowly up. Bridge is my favourite position. We come up with the hips, try not to squeeze your bum, send the knees long, the ribs remain down, the hips are high. We take a breath in through the nose and slowly lower. How slowly it should take you to get down. All the way through imprint and release. Breath in. Gently roll the lower back. Try not to squeeze the bottom. We shouldn't need the bum to get up. We should only need the bum once we start kind of keeping up in bridge and doing lifts and things, but we're not doing that today. Take a breath in. Slowly lower. See how long it takes you. Think about your jagged vertebrae. The vertebrae get bigger as we go towards the lumbar spine. Because they have to hold here, they have to hold all our weight. So we have 7 in our neck, 12 in our thoracic, then 5, and then the bottom 9 are fused, the sacrum and coccyx. But ideally we want to start moving bone by bone. Take a breath in, slowly lower. Almost feels like you're not moving. Last one, breath in. Gently roll the lower back into imprint. Start lifting your bottom, your lower back, peeling the spine away. Sending the knees long, the hips high. We're just on our shoulder blades, we're not right up on our neck. Take a breath in. And slowly lower. And just cross your ankles, and you can do more, but 6 to 8 is lovely. Just bring the knees in. I can do practically a whole Pilates class, or at least half an hour on bridge exercises. But they're really good, just pulling the knees in, articulating the spine. And usually if you're going to be doing roll-ups, abdominal work, if you do a roll-up first thing on a morning, you find everything's a bit stiff and there's a lot of this going on. But once you've done a bridge, you can take a breath in, little chin nod, and everything should feel a lot looser. Okay then, so let's do now some isolated stretches. Okay, so we can start with, just in case it is the bottom, a general glute stretch. Push the knee out and then just lift up, just normal figure of 4. If you're super tight in the glute, you may want to actually leave that foot down. but you can push gently and hold that stretch. Often people say, how long do you hold them for? 20-30 seconds. If you can do them 2 or 3 times, brilliant. And gently down. I often have just a little hamstring stretch there, just for a little bit. And then you can lengthen that other leg. Keep that leg now into tabletop. Use the same hand. This is the piriformis one, important. You keep the same hand, you push it across the midline. So inner knee to that opposite shoulder, lift up and grab the outside ankle, bring that heel into the top of the thigh. Just keep pushing, important that you push on the outside. Oh, and it's such a lovely stretch. Through the bum, through the top, right at the very top of the back of the leg, and into the lower back. And then from here I go into the SI stretch, sacroiliac joint. Take that arm out to the side, switch the hand, and then turn to that outstretched arm as you bring that foot over to the floor. Take a breath in, let the belly rise. Exhale. And again. And again. Last one. Bring it back, just squeeze both knees in. Oh. And then switch, let's do the other side. So basic glute stretch, figure 4, one foot on top of the knee, bring the other one up, just push on that inner knee, just take some lovely breaths in, out, in, out, last one. Lovely, take it down, just grab, just hold again. You can just point the foot if the hamstrings and calves feel a bit too tight as you're stretching it out. And we're going to take it into other leg bending. Piriformis, my favourite one. Push on the outside with the same hand, outside of that knee, lift up, inner knee. The imagery is facing the opposite shoulder. Bring it down and keep pushing. So if you've got a really lazy day, guys, and this feels good, and you're like, do you know what, I'm beginning to feel all them aches and pains, then treat yourself and do it again. I've got a walk around Temple Newsam in 40 minutes, so last one. And then just gently bring the knees together into supine spine stretch. The last one, glue your legs together. Take the knees to the right, the head to the left. This time practice belly breath. Let the belly rise on an inhale. Exhale, release. And again. Last one, breath in. Draw the navel in back to centre and to the other side. Inhale, let the belly rise. Exhale, release. And again. Last one. Draw knee in, back to centre, and then a very similar one, cross one leg over. Take the top foot to the floor, take it over. Inhale, let the belly rise. Exhale, release. And again. Last one. And back to centre and switch. And again, over. I can hear my husband going, you can relate. Inhale, let the belly rise. Last one. And gently up, and then just slowly over to the side, and then just take the feet either side and just have a really simple hip flexor stretch. I could do loads of work in hips that I love, guys. This one's a good one, just to get everything moving. You can then take it like this and do more of this particular move. And then we're just going from here, see if we can just hold, draw the tummy in, and we bring ourselves up. Normally we do 25 of these, but I'm going to have to go. And then just take your hands down, take that foot, and slowly up. And if you enjoyed it, gosh, 42 minutes of stretches.